it's the second week of January and we are off with a bang. We have 348 homes on the market, so that's very low inventory, the lowest we've ever seen. So we're going to be looking at more inventory coming up as the spring market goes. Larry has told us that his marketing share, the work coming, has doubled up or tripled up really for the next 2 weeks in January. So we'll expect the market to increase, but there's more homes pending than are for sale. So we had 348 single families in Santa Clara County that's available, and that's including the ones that are coming soon. And we have 442 homes that are pending escrow. So we don't have any time left to buy a house. So if it's time to sell, we'll go on the market now and you'll be doing great. So we have a great time. And then Larry, the Hisco man, is here, and he's going to tell us all about putting up your smoke detectors and your carbon monoxide detectors, and a little bit more about how fire starts in your home and what to do.
I wanted to ask you something about that low inventory. If there's low inventory, does that mean if they put their home on the market in a month from now, there's going to be 5 times as many homes competing instead if they do it like in the next 2 or 3 weeks?
Well, there's a funny thing about statistics. You could project them all the way through, but they go up and they come back down. So we're going to see a little bit of bumping back and forth because we never see it a straight line.
Okay.
So yeah, there'll be more homes in the spring market. You get your best selection between now and April.
So buyers is good for a while, but if you want to sell,
all the buyers' demand has pent it up, and we're going to still see multiple offers on anything that looks good.
Okay, great.
Yeah. So we get to inspections, and then we can buy the houses with no contingencies.
Okay. Well, if you're going to buy one of these houses, obviously you're going to have fire insurance, but it'd be so nice if the sucker just didn't burn down. You have to get that fire insurance claim. So the number one recently in the news in Chicago, last May, they did a home inspection. Everything was fine. It was like living quarters. In May, everything was working fine. All the smoke detectors worked. This last 2 weeks ago, fire came through there. None of the smoke detectors worked. 4 kids and 2 adults died, not from the fire, from the smoke, because they had not checked the batteries. So, then there's a question about these smoke detectors and carbon monoxide detectors. Carbon monoxide, you can buy one of those detectors, single, standalone, and it plugs into a wall socket, 18 inches up above the ground. You could also buy a combo of them with a smoke detector and a carbon monoxide, and that's typically has to go up on the roof. On the ceiling, I mean. So why does it have to go in the ceiling? It has to go in the ceiling because in a fire, smoke would rise and it has to hit the smoke detector up there. But what about that carbon monoxide? Is carbon monoxide heavy or light like smoke? It's heavy. Does carbon monoxide typically hit the ceiling? No, it stays very low. So that's the quandary. If there was a fire, yes, you would want carbon monoxide detector up there to tell you there's carbon monoxide in here. But if there's a fire and there's smoke and carbon monoxide, what am I worried about? The smoke or the carbon monoxide? Hell, I need to be out of that damn house before the carbon monoxide ever gets there. So having a smoke detector and carbon monoxide detector up on the ceiling is kind of foolish, because what if there's a leak in the carbon monoxide just any old night? And incidentally, where the carbon monoxide detector has to be is between the source, which is typically the kitchen, and the bedroom. So do you want that 8 feet up, or do you want it 18 inches? You want it down low. You want it down low. So carbon monoxide, it needs to be lower than where you're sleeping. The theory is it'll get up, you'll breathe it at your bed, 3 feet up. You want it to be alerted before it's there. So the carbon monoxide, you used to have one of each. Carbon monoxide needs to be plugged into the wall, somewhere in a hallway or somewhere between the source. This is as an inspection company, that's what we look for. Do you have carbon monoxide between the source, kitchen, and the sleeping area? And what if you have a bedroom over there, here's a kitchen, then you need 2. And you plug them in. The smoke detector, you can have a carbon monoxide up there if you want or not, it doesn't matter. But the smoke detector, same thing, has to go in between in the hallway and also in the bedroom. So inside the bedroom, open up the door, look up on top, there should be a smoke detector up there in each bedroom, and then one in the hallway.
Hey Larry, I wanted to tell you one thing about those smoke detectors. Now they're basically we were changing out almost every smoke detector with a 10-year sealed battery.
Right.
And then when you open it up, they have a little switch on the back. You pull the tab, and then you read the instructions and find out you just turned it off forever. So be careful when you're installing them, because they have a way to remove the battery before you start, and once you do it, you're done.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've done it.
Good, Kev.
Yep. So I just wanted to warn everybody, read the instructions when you put them up. 10-year sealed batteries, you won't have that 3-month every changing battery time.
Good. Well, there's a good and a bad to that story. Just wait. Don't change the damn thing until it's time.
Yeah, until 10
Well,
years.
you hit the little button.
The tester, yeah.
Hit the tester. Okay, the next thing we're going to cover is where do most fires start? It's in the garage. Why does it start in the garage? Because that's where you got flammable material. You got gas for the lawnmower, paint, things like that. Those fumes used to, in the 50s, travel along the ceiling, along the floor, and hit the pilot light at the hot water heater. And that would explode. Most homes, fires started out there. So sometime in the 60s, said, this is stupid. That all the hot water heaters from then on had to be 18 inches higher so that the fumes won't hit that. Then once you do that, theoretically, you shouldn't have any more fires start in the garage because of that. But if a fire did start for some other reason, it doesn't want to get into the house. There needs to be a fireproof wall stopping the fire from breaching the fireproof wall. And that fireproof wall is sheetrock. Sheetrock doesn't burn. But sometimes people, for some reason, they cut a hole in it, make a hole. In many houses, if you go in the garage and look at that wall, there's going to be a hole in there. So you need to put something that is fireproof in there. You can put like plaster, plug it up, anything. Or if you've got wires coming through, you've got a hole that big and you got the little wires, sparks can find that empty spot. Sparks can go into that wall. Now they have breached the firewall. They go inside. Depending on how many sparks get there, if there's dust or lint in there, they could ignite, start the 2x4s, whammo, then there you go. Another thing about that I was going to tell you, be sure don't forget, but I forgot.
The spring on the fire door.
Yes, it's that door.
Yeah.
The door is two things about the door. The door has to be solid wood. If it's solid wood, it's going to take too much time to get through theoretically. Or if you have a hollow door, it has to have some sort of sheet metal covering the door, and it has to have a spring on it so that when you open it up, it automatically shuts. That's something that we call out all the time.
Self-closing.
Self-closing door, and all the way closing, not so it's got a little bit of crack, because that fire, if it gets in there, could sneak its way through. What about the rest of the wall? What about, you just see the ceiling is nothing. It's you see the 2x4s, the walls, you see the 2x4s. Does that matter? No, we don't care if the garage wall burns down. We just don't want it to get into where the sleeping quarters are, where the living quarters are. That's garage fire. Then another thing where fires start frequently was from that dryer. The dryer obviously can overheat if you've got too much lint in the lint trap. That can overheat, and some of the lint's very, very flammable. I'm sure you'd realize that. And it could ignite easily, and that's normally inside the house. If it's in the garage, great, it's in the garage. Make sure you've got all those holes plugged. There's another thing about a dryer, is you may have a dryer and you put some clothes in there, and you feel it, it's hot, you come back half an hour later, you say, geez, it's hot, and they're still wet. Why is that? Because the water, the heat, should have made a vapor, a warm vapor, and that warm vapor should have shot out the vent and gone to the outside. If something interrupted that wouldn't happen. So you can check this easily by going to the vent and feel the vent. Do I feel warm air coming out? If you don't feel warm air coming out, now the warm air got trapped somewhere in the vent. So what had happened is the vent normally leaves your dryer and it's underneath the house, and it's held up at the bottom of the joist. It's not supposed to be laying down because it can't go down and then back up. Well, if one of the joists or one of the little holders slipped and it's coming down, that area, and I found this many, many times, that area is heavy. It's filled with all that condensed water. It was hot, got cold, turned into water. It's filled up. So the vent comes down, there's water all the way across this and goes back up. All you got to do is, once you feel there's no heat coming out of the vent, poke it with a screwdriver, it'll drain that out, and then lift that sucker up. You can see from what I just said, if it left the dryer and went down and laid on the ground, and then it's not gonna, it's not gonna lay on the dirt and go straight, it's gonna have to go up to go out, whoop, it's gonna fill up with water. So that's why from the area, it goes up, it's held, and it goes right directly out straight, so the dryer will work. And then the last thing is, some of you may have gotten a new appliance, like a typical thing is a microwave. Microwaves use a lot of electricity. So your house could have been fine. All of a sudden you get this new microwave, put it in the kitchen, which is a lot of electrical stuff already in there, and the breaker might go off and go, oh, gotta remember, don't have the dryer on or don't have this on when we've got the microwave on. My house was that way. I have an old house built in 1930, so it was that way. And before I knew anything, we used to say, oh, don't turn the microwave or the toaster. If I had the dryer and put the toaster on, it'd break a circuit. Microwave for sure would break a circuit. And I just thought, oh, well, no big deal. Then an electrician came out and told me, hey, this thing is sparking. Look at this thing. It was all charged. And he goes, one of these times you were going to burn this sucker out. And you know when you burn this sucker out? The charge that was going to burn your house down, but the breaker stopped it from happening, this breaker is going to stop working. So if you have a breaker that goes off one time, okay, fine, it's a fluke. But if it goes on 2 times, you got to change something around. And it's not that hard. You've got a breaker that says, I'm good up to 20 amps. Well, what if this thing is running 25 amps? Just put a bigger breaker in there. Make sure the wires can handle it, because an electrician do. They'll put bigger wires to handle the load, put a breaker to handle the load, it's fine. But just don't let that breaker keep going off, because at some point it's going to stop going off and you've got a poofo. You've got flames and spark coming out of there.
Very nice.
Is there any questions?
Upgrade
okay, fine.
Upgrade your system to 100 amp or 200 amp circuits for the new world with everything being grounded. So when people are buying houses and turning them over, we're upgrading the system completely, and new wires in the house too.
Right.
No more putting a nickel in, screwing it into the thing to make, because that fuses.
It's a short circuit.
Yeah, it fuses your breakers, and your power will work until you burn down.
Yeah, right. That's the old man way.
Yeah, and there's another, the second week of January of 2022. We have a very auspicious date of 1/11/22. So we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah,
Thank you so much.
1, 2, 2.
That's right. And 2 divided by 1, divided by 2 is 1, 1.
Yeah, that's
and
cool.
then 1 plus 1 is 2. So
See, you get more and more that you never thought you were going to get all this.
Thanks, Larry. Thanks for coming. It's always fun.
Okay, see you next time, kids.